Greetings everyone. This video is going to be a little bit more in depth about your birth name, your birth certificate name, and your frequency.
Greetings! This infinite source truth is made possible by the generous contributions and support of viewers like you. Please consider making a contribution now. Thank you.
So your birth certificate name is your script name. It is your soul contract. It is the name and the frequency that is a match for your life script, your DNA soul cage. Your soul cage is DNA. That's what's holding and binding you into this illusionary 3D virtual reality dream state that we are experiencing. That name, as it appears on your birth certificate, with the intonation and everything else that was intended whenever it was created, your parents named you. They thought they had a choice in the name, but they did not. It was assigned. There was an illusion of choice, but it was always going to be the name that you have. Your body, your DNA, your script is all a frequency match to that name, that sound of that name, the letters of that name, the spelling of that name. Yes, it's a spell. You benefit the most if you use that name throughout your entire life, because it is the perfect frequency match for you and your script. It is, in fact, a key for you of a type. Now, people who have a French name and they're in an American or a foreign country, and it has a French sound to it. When you use your name, you need to speak it forth because you are calling yourself. You need to speak it forth in the manner in which it was intended. You are saying your name. You need to say it so it is a frequency match to you. If it's French, then say it in the French manner of saying it. Say it in the language it was given it to you in, and use it when you introduce yourself to others. It is a frequency, and you are best off using your first name of your birth certificate name in your script. If you have not unlocked your script, that is a definite. If you have unlocked your script, you have a bit more flexibility in the use of your name, because you can override that original name with the name that you have created for yourself. The name changes can be in your script, but that's not who you are. And actually, none of these names are who you really are. But for your script purposes and for this experience within this dream world state, this illusionary dream world, your birth certificate name is the name that you should be using as it appears, sound and spell on your birth certificate. People changing their names, it actually changes their frequency. And their DNA and their body are no longer a frequency match to that name. And yes, there could be changes. Names are frequencies. Sound is frequency. Vibrational frequency. And it does affect you. You need to be aware of it, and you need to determine whether it's best for you to maybe go back to using your first name. If you have it on business cards and everything else and it's a big hassle to change, well, you've lived this long with it that way. I guess it wouldn't hurt to keep on going out forward with it like that. But try introducing yourself by your first name. And if you don't feel comfortable with that around family and friends, try it with complete strangers. And see how it feels, and see what kind of a reaction you get from complete strangers whenever you introduce yourself by your real first name. Maybe even go to a different area and try it out. If you decide that it is more beneficial for you to switch, then you don't have to do it all immediately. You can do it little bits at a time as things have to be renewed or business cards run out or whatever. You can change them. I do not suggest you use your full name. Just use your first and your last name on any business cards. I would not give your entire name out to anyone unless there's a good reason for it. And for families that have a child and they're a junior or they're the first, you've got the first, you've got senior, you got junior, you got the third. You all need to be called Robert. If you're Robert the first, Robert the second, Robert the third, well, every one of those men should be called Robert. Junior is not good. Senior is not good. Bob, Rob, no. Robert. But again, I'm just sharing this with you, and you can check with your source self if it makes any difference for you. Not what you think or believe. Some of you have names that were given to you at birth that are foreign names to you, and maybe they don't fit in with the society that you're in right now, or they're unusual names that maybe as a child you would have gotten ridiculed for or made fun of, but you're an adult now. Something to consider. Verify it with your source self and do what you will with that little bit of information. Your soul cage is your DNA. Your DNA has a vibrational frequency. It is matched up to your birth certificate name, your soul contract, your name as it sounds, and your name as it's spelled, and it is spelled, and it is a spell on every source player. Every name is. So what's in a name? Everything is in a name. There are some names that you can change your name to, and it will have the same frequency, vibration in a similar way, and it will be in harmony with you. And in those cases, if your frequency is high enough to absorb that change, then it's not a problem. Again, most of you would never even know this, and being aware of it, or you may choose to actually, instead of shortening your name to, from Bob, you might start saying, well, call me Robert. My name's Robert. And whenever you introduce yourself to new people, call yourself by your name, Robert. In fact, most of your legal paperwork is probably going to have your legal name on it anyway in most cases. It's going to be your full name as on your birth certificate. And you can remove the etheric connections from those on all dimensions and realms and timelines. And I suggest that you do that for yourself. This goes for your entire name. This goes for your first, middle, and last name, as given on your birth certificate. And I know it's popular to change your name, your last name especially, if you were getting married or whatever. And as a matter of fact, it seems like it's cultural in some cultures that it's expected that you take on your husband's last name. But there's a lot of cultures that that's not part of. So that explains a bit more as to why you should stick with your birth certificate name for this game of life. Because it is your soul contract. It is a frequency match to you like no other. It matches you like no other. And if you have a different name, you need to, with intent, connect yourself to that original birth certificate name whenever you give out your name. If you give out your first name, you're going to be the frequency match to that birth certificate name in that original state that you came into this game. You may experience some wonderful differences in your life when you start using your birth name once again, as given. If someone else wants to call you a nickname, that's not really beneficial, and you have a choice of responding to that or not. If people choose to call you a nickname and after you have gone back to the other, well, just ignore them. They'll get around to it. If they want to talk to you, then they'll address you properly, or they won't address you at all. Just don't spend a lot of energy trying to correct them. In some cases, you can be addressed the wrong name and does it really matter? But whenever you give forth your name with your own mouth, you need to use your first name from your birth certificate to be the most beneficial match for you. If you found the information that I have been sharing beneficial, I encourage you to be a supporter of this channel as you unlock things that you can unlock no other way. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you. Is everything I have shared here infinite source truth only and not what I think or believe? And that is a yes from my program Pendulum. Do it all immediately.